Hey, I'm Ron Drodos from keyboardimprov.com, and welcome to our journey through the Real Book, number 246. The 246th tune in the Real Book, Volume 1, 6th edition, is My Funny Valentine, which is one of the most famous, what we now call jazz ballads of all time. But originally, it was not a jazz ballad, it was a Broadway song, like a ballad in a Broadway show by Rodgers and Hart, great songwriting team. Richard Rodgers, Lorenz, Hart. Richard Rodgers eventually went on to write with another lyricist, Oscar Hammerstein, and did shows that we're more familiar with these days, like Oklahoma, The Sound of Music, Carousel, The King and I. But before that, he was very famous already in the 30s with with Lorenz Hart, and they did shows that haven't lasted as long, but the songs have. So this was from a 1937 Broadway musical called Babes in Arms. And unless you're a Broadway singer, you probably don't know that show anymore. You know, I don't really know it. I just know that when I used to play on Broadway and I'd play auditions, singers would sometimes walk through the door. The director would say, "What are you going to sing?" And they'd say, "Oh, I'd like to sing My Funny Valentine by Rodgers and Hart from Babes in Arms." And I said, "Oh, I wonder what Babes in Arms is." But it's not really produced anymore. These were shows that were written at this time. It was during the Great Depression. And a lot of the music from that time was kind of light, almost like escapism, because times were tough, right? The Depression. Yet a lot of times the media and the artistic world, at least the popular artistic world, would come up with ways to sort of lighten the mindset. I remember when I was in high school, I did a project for my US history class where I had to do something about the Depression, and I researched it. I went down to the library before the internet, and I looked at, it was on microfilm, I looked at New York Times front pages from like around 1935, 36, 37, and the headlines weren't the things that we might expect, like, you know, about homelessness and all that at the time. It was more like President meets Boy Scouts on White House lawn. You know, at least the ones I remember seeing. I was really struck by that. It was like this lightness, you know. Movies like The Wizard of Oz came out around this time, right? About, oh, something's better, something we can think about that's better than our day-to-day existence, which was really tough at that time. So Babes in Arms, coming of age show about young love, and My Funny Valentine. These songs, the lyrics of these songs, which we should get to know as musicians, jazz musicians, there are many ways to say I love you, basically. And the way that Lorenz Hart framed this song was to basically say, you know, my funny Valentine, my love, who's not really the most handsome person in the world and might not be the wittiest and, you know, whatever, but I still love this person. You know, it's a unique take on it, or at least his take for the song. Musically, Richard Rodgers did something which he didn't often do in this early period of his. Each A section goes a little higher. And actually, the first one, it's in C minor, and here, the first one starts on C. My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile, da da da. And then it starts higher, a third higher. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, da da da. It goes even higher, ba 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 ba. Then the relative major for the bridge, E flat, is your figure less than weak, is your little higher, da 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 da, da da higher, da 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 da. So the first A section starts on C, then 8 measures later, the second A section starts with a similar melody, but up a third on E flat. But then the real genius here is that in the last A section, he starts out on the C again, and then immediately goes up to the third. He doesn't wait 8 measures, and then it goes way up. It just soars, very romantic. And then he adds 4 bars. So this song, like something like All the Things You Are by Jerome Kern, is not a 32-bar standard form song. It's 36. It's got an extra 4 measures at the end. So sometimes you see that. You see songs that are based on a standard form, but they're not really exactly fitting into that mold often by an extension. I Got Rhythm by George Gershwin would have an extra 2 measures, which is so weird that people generally don't play it when they're improvising. They just leave it out. But this one you will play and improvise over the 36 measures. So lots of famous versions of the song. Miles Davis in the 50s, and then he kept playing it live. Gerry Mulligan. I was Gerry Mulligan's assistant in 1987 and 88, and he had a very famous version with Chet Baker. So check those out as starting points. I like starting this kind of atmospheric and just sort of see where this takes me. I have no preconceptions on this. Oh, and here's a pro tip, as they say. If you play piano, probably because you're watching this, but maybe not. But if you do, learn this in the key of A minor as well, down a minor third, because a lot of vocalists sing it in A minor. And not just as a jazz ballad, but they get that kind of R&B thing. You hear people do it like that a lot. Diane Reeves did something like that. It's a really well-known tune to sort of take in that R&B ballad direction. So learn it in, well, it's really E flat. Starts on C minor, it's in E flat major. That would be A minor, and it ends in C major. So it's really in C major. Here we go. I'm going to start with just a nice kind of I think of like, almost like, well, I know Gil Evans did this kind of thing, but I'm thinking kind of a Ravel, Aaron Copland kind of voicing texture, and just really seeing where this takes me. I have no idea where this is going to go. I don't know if I'm going to get into a Miles Davis type groove or not, because I'm going to start way out in left field with this and see where it goes. that just goes to show us how you can really personalize a tune and play it whatever you like. You know, I love those kind of voicings. I love those textures. Some of it comes from classical music. Some of it comes from just different ways people play jazz. You know, even Coltrane. You know, in that middle period Coltrane, where he'd get into these, you know, grooves that weren't necessarily straight ahead four. I didn't play it in a Coltrane way, but I think that influenced how I play it. So we can bring anything that we love about music into these songs and find a meeting point, you know, a meeting way. So it's like a third of it's from the original composer's intent, a third of it's what I love, and then a third of it's kind of the jazz tradition, and you just meld it all together. Great, great tune. It's a must-know. It's one of the maybe 3 ballads first ballads you should learn. Misty, My Funny Valentine, and I don't know, In a Sentimental Mood maybe. In terms of jazz ballads, or In My Solitude by Ellington, maybe 4. Misty, My Funny Valentine, In My Solitude, and what did I say? In a Sentimental Mood. Probably some more in there too, but these are essential ballads. Everybody plays them, and they're great tunes. So thanks for joining me here. Next time we're going to be another great ballad, but not quite as essential maybe. My One and Only Love. It wouldn't be the first 3 or 4 I learned. But wherever you are in your journey, thanks for joining me here, and good luck with your playing. See you in the next video.